Guys, before I just do a quick intro to Scotty, I just want you to realize 6 a.m. for him. I can't even say 8 a.m. for me, but this is really plays into the consistency topic. So, Scotty, thanks for coming on. We're getting it done. But, guys, I'm going to just kick off and get started. Guys, comment below if you're here. Tag a friend in the comments. Share the video while it's on so we can reach as many of the coaches and people as possible. But for those of you guys that don't know Scotty, who's become one of my best of friends, success partner, you want to surround yourself with people that level you up, and Scotty levels me up. Hence, we're here doing this super early, his suggestion to get it done. But Scotty is a father of 5. I got to hang with 3 of his girls here at my house a couple weeks ago. Kristen and I, we had a blast. We did a ton of things. We ate, we laughed, we joked, we talked about our vision. So that's most important. A father of 5. He's a husband to a beautiful wife, Gabby, who we get to connect with, and Chris and I get to know, who we absolutely love. He's a 14-star diamond coach. He's a Million Club member. He's a Success Club All-Star legend. And he's somebody that, if you've never seen the story, go YouTube it, guys, how he paid off his mortgage of his house in such a short amount of time with the business, which was just an amazing, amazing thing that he did. I love seeing that story. But I'm going to kick it over to you, Scotty. Welcome to the Hey Bro Show, episode 15.
Awesome. Super excited about this. I'm going to introduce David so you guys know who you guys are speaking with here. It is super early for me, 6 o'clock. It usually takes me like 2 hours before I'm ready to talk to anybody. So if you're that person out there, just know that there's hope that you can make it happen. So David is he's a father. He's a father of 3 beautiful daughters. That's kind of one of the, you attract your tribe, the people that are similar to you. So it's kind of no surprise in some way that him and I are accountability partners. We both have 3 daughters, both have the same values, standards, work ethic. But he is a father of 3. He's married to Kristen, who builds the business alongside him. He's an 8-star diamond coach, also a diamond in the Second Business Center. So if you don't know about that, with Team Beachbody, you can build 25 total business centers. So I know sometimes I talk to the men about this, and they understand. They see you start to see a bigger picture when you can understand that it's not just one business, but you can create 25 business centers. He is a Success Club legend, all-star legend for 69 months. He's a 2-time elite coach, also a 6-figure earner, and super busy with his role in full-time job as a lieutenant of the New York City Police. An amazing thing that I love about him is his strong why and his vision for his life with Beachbody, but that he's also been able to retire his wife Kristen from her full-time job and help do that so she could be home with the kids. So with that being said, David, I'm going to pass it over to you so I can learn something today.
Awesome, and same back at you, Scotty. So thank you, guys, and welcome to this episode. And this topic, I think, is a huge and very important one, because I actually did it on our team call last week. It's on consistency. So I want to hit everybody and talk to you about a couple of points that I want to hit on and why consistency is so important in your business, and to give you some examples as we move along. So I hope you have a paper and pen to write down these points. So guys, number 1, consistency. It's how you start a habit. I can tell you right now, the point with me, I'm at the point in the business, well, I do not wake up, everybody, and I have to think about when I'm going to work my business today. I do not think about, I need to post in social media today. I don't think about, I need to check my Facebook messages or check in with my challenge groups. It's become part of my life. It's a routine. It's a habit. My personal development's a habit. My working out is a habit. I do not think about this each and every day when I go forward. And they say it takes about 21 days to start a habit. And the thing I think what happens with so many people is you start, you stop, you start, you stop. And in your mind, you're negotiating, when am I going to have time to work my business? I'm going away on vacation, or I have something going on at work. And I don't operate that way. My mind and my brain is wired every single day. I'm getting it done. I just have to figure it out. It's become part of my life. So you have to understand that if you're starting and stopping, you will never, ever, ever get to a point when you do it to the point where you just subconsciously just do it. You don't even think about it. It becomes part of your life. Number 2, guys, window watchers will stop watching you. Who are the window watchers? Those are those people that never comment or like on any of your posts, but are watching what you're doing, are inspired by you, are seeing that, you're showing up each and every day. And if you disappear, they're going to disappear, because they're not going to see that you're true to what you said you're going to do. They're going to see that you're talking about being healthy and fit, but you disappear during rough times. It's kind of like, I like the example that my wife uses. It's kind of like if you open a brand new restaurant and people are watching the restaurant, but you decide, this Wednesday and Thursday, I'm not going to show up. And then, you know, like this Saturday and Sunday, we're going to close. And eventually nobody's going to go there because they don't know if you're going to be there or not. They're just going to say, is this restaurant for real? So those people that are watching you will, in fact, stop watching you. Number 3, it's times, and this is the biggest, most important one I think is really important. It's times that life is the hardest that consistency is most important. And this is what I mean by that. Let me elaborate on that, guys. It's all great when you're posting your workouts and your journey and doing anything when life is dandy. But let me ask you, when life hits you in the core and knocks you down, or when you're your busiest, when you're on vacation, or you're traveling, or you're stuck at work and you're struggling, are you showing up then? Because then is the most powerful times to show up, even though it's the hardest times to show up, that will amplify your consistency and that you're true to who you say you are, because people are going to see, hey, this boy Scotty, he's for real because he's away, he's traveling right now. Hey, bro, show 6 a.m. for him. There's nobody going to question Scotty's consistency and the level that he operates each and every day when it comes to his life and his business. But most people, and I see it, especially this time of year, you go on vacation, you're gone from a week from social media. You go on vacation, your workouts stop. You go on vacation, you're a mess when it comes to your nutrition. It turns into social media of just drinking and everything else. And let me tell you, your people that are watching you see that. And you think, oh, I'm on vacation. But I'll tell you right now, when Kristen and I were in Disney World, when we're at, most recently Disney World, whenever we travel, we talk about how hard it is, but we get our workouts done. That's our life. Like, yes, Beachbody is our vehicle, but fitness and health is our life. It's not something that you just start and stop. It's a journey. We wake up, we get our workouts in. Kristen's doing it now. When I finish, I'm getting it done. I don't think about it. And I think so many people, when life strips you to the core, you stop. When life is busy, you stop. And the people that are watching you are going to see that. And I think that if you flip it on its upside down and you realize those are the times that you need to get it done, you're going to have so much more credibility because you're consistent when life knocks you down. Next, guys, getting momentum back is twice as hard when we stop. I can tell you, when you start and stop and start and stop, you will never, ever gain momentum. And the 2 examples I like to give with that is, the first is in Darren Hardy's Compound Effect. He talks about pumping a well, and he talks about pumping the well and trying to get the water to the top of the well. And in the beginning, you are pumping so hard and putting so much effort and putting so much energy to get that water to start flowing out of there. And that's like in the beginning when you're trying to be consistent and you're hitting a lot of resistance, you're trying to get there. But eventually, the water starts pumping, it starts flowing out quickly, you're gaining momentum, you're consistent, you do not need to pump as hard, right? But what happens if you stop pumping the water well? Immediately, as soon as you stop pumping, the water stops, and for you to start again, you got to start all over again with twice as much effort. The other example I like, it's like kind of running up the down escalator, right? I've heard this before from another awesome male coach, Pat Reelman. He gives the example of like running up the down escalator. It's so much work to get up that escalator that's going down, and you're running and you're trying to get up and you're fighting momentum and you're going up the hill and you're right about at the landing to step off and you stop. And what happens? Within a half a second, you're at the bottom of the escalator again and you need to start all over. So you have to understand that gaining momentum is very hard to start up when you're not consistent. The next one, guys, is no one who is truly successful has ever stopped then started. I can tell you, for me, I've been working at this since I signed up as a coach late 2010, early 2011, haven't stopped. I can tell you, Scotty on this call hasn't stopped. There are no elite coaches out there, male and female, top coaches, people that are growing, creating 6-figure incomes, 7-figure incomes, that are stopping and disappearing. And I see it all the time. I would say 98% of the people are starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And if you want to be successful, you can't start and stop. You need to be consistent. Guys, my last 2 points, my favorite one, this is a quote I use quite frequently, is that, and write it down, hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Okay? I can tell you right now, I am not the best social media person. I'm not the most creative. I always tell everybody that Kristen kicks butt when she comes to creativity in her posts. I'm not the greatest Instagrammer, right? I don't have the greatest selfies in the photos. And I know there are people out there in worse situations than me that are crushing the business. I know that. But my mindset is this, guys. My mindset is you won't outwork me. Like, I may not be the best, most talented, but in my mindset is you're not going to beat me to the finish line. I'm not going to stop. I'll grind my way through it. I think of right now, I am so driven, and Scotty and I together are driven to go international with amazing people in the UK, and we are working our tails off. I may not be the best at trying to learn how to connect with people, but you won't beat me when it comes to hustle. And to keep myself humble about it, I'll be honest, I know there are people out there that are in tougher situations. How many people right now are working their business at 6 a.m.? Like, just call it as it is. I think this example, you know, with Scotty being on here, and I'll tell you, I'll even say 8 a.m. How many people right now are showing up, putting the time in, and haven't stopped? And the thing is, I don't think I'm the most talented. I know there's people out there that have better talents in certain areas than Scotty and myself, but you won't beat us in the hustle game. I know that. And you have to have that mindset. Even though, yes, there may be people out there working harder to keep you humble, you have to have the mindset is you won't beat me when it comes to hustle. You won't be outworked. That's the way I operate. And the last point, guys, is this. It's a choice you have, and you have 100% control of it. Consistency is a choice, and you have 100% control of it. Nobody determines whether you're going to be consistent or not except you. And consistency, I think, is the most important thing. I will not stop. Life will not knock me down. I've been through sickness in family. There's been death. There's been crazy things at work. I've had major life events happen. I still work full-time and do this business, but I will never, ever, ever stop being consistent. You will not beat me in that, and you too have that choice. You too choose the actions of what you do each and every day. You can't control what happens to you guys, but you 100% control how you react. So, guys, that's my points of why I think consistency is so important. I want to kick it over to my boy Scotty to drop some knowledge on us as well. Thanks, brother.
Awesome. Thank you, David. I wrote down some notes, some of those quotes that you gave me at the end there. I want to give a shout out. I see Brian on here. He's been up working since 4 a.m. And Tyann did 3 follow-ups and 2 invites. So shout out to you guys for doing that, and also for being on this call, on this live call with us, because you're here willing to learn. But my challenge is, as you're done with this, to go do the vital behaviors. It's Saturday. Go throw out more invites than you've ever thrown out. Do some follow-ups. Do your workout, and do some personal development. So David hit all the points that I want to hit. You know, success leaves clues, and that's one thing that we always hear and tend to hear. But I'm going to teach you guys a little bit something different. But I had some things come to my mind as David was talking about during my first year and throughout the journey as I set up new goals and challenge myself in new ways, because I believe first and foremost, if you don't have a clear vision and clear goals, that's going to be one of the first things that makes you not consistent at something, because you have nothing you're aiming for, no end destination that you're trying to arrive at. So one thing that I remember I heard from one of my mentors, I used to listen to him. Remember, outside mentors, we had this topic. I call him my mentor, but in reality, I only spoke to him twice in my entire life in person, where I was able to sit down with him. But I used to listen to a series that he did called The 90 Days of Excellence. And he used to say this thing where he says, because I'm speaking about your goals and your dreams, because you got to have something to aim for that gets you excited about life, that you want to accomplish, that's either so exciting or bring you so much joy in your life, or something that is a pain point in your life that you've got to go after. And I remember him saying, set a goal, like get a visual for it, put it up on the fridge, and tell your family what it is and why you're going for it. And for me specifically, I didn't quite know. I was going on a trip with Gabby, the Success Club trip. I had that goal, you know, and I wanted something to be able to aspire for and tell my kids about. But the goal was for us, we were going to do a cruise with all of our family at one point. And so I had the picture of the cruise. And then the other thing that I loved the best is I created a picture that caused a lot of emotion in me. I only had 3 daughters at the time, just like David. And my oldest one was the one I was communicating with the most, because she's 5 years old. You know, the other one's 2 and the other one's a newborn. So I took a picture of her holding a sign that said, "Don't give up, Daddy." And it is a heart. We cut it out. I wrote, "Don't give up." I had her hold it. I took a picture of it, and I put it up on my fridge. And I also made it my screensaver at work, along with this goal of going on a trip. And one thing, and I did that because he talked about, what I want you to do is I want you to put your goals and your dreams, what you want for your family, what you're gonna accomplish with this business. Put it up. Talk to your wife. talk to your kids and say, hey, I'm going to build this business. It's going to take some time away, whether it's 2, 3 hours, 4 hours a day, whatever it is you decide, just as if you would say, let's say you have your full-time job and you need to make an extra income and you're going to work at nights. You would talk to your wife about that. You would talk to your kids about that. Why daddy's gone every night from, 8 to midnight. He's working the second job. This is why, because, you'd explain that, have communication. But he said, put that up, put the vision and the goal up, what you're going to do. And he said, I just remember one thing. He said, that's to clearly see what your goal is. But I remember him saying, like, when you think about quitting, like, I've never thought about quitting. Honestly, I've never had the thought, like, I'm going to quit. Maybe I should quit. I've had the times where I'm like, this is exhausting and tiring in the beginning, but I never said I would quit. I say it's still to the day, like, if I lost every customer, every coach, I would still show up tomorrow. And I'll hit on that point at the end of this. I would still show up tomorrow and work the business just the same. And I'll just briefly hit it in case I miss it, because I get excited sometimes. Because I've inspired somebody that's watching, a window shopper, watching right now, ready to change their life, has hope. They're waiting for that moment when they're ready to commit. If I quit now, it's selfish and it's only about me because it was hard on me. And I left that person with hope that they could transform their health and fitness or their financial situation. So I've made the decision that I'll never quit and leave someone hanging like that. But I have this, now you're picturing this, I want you guys to do this. Write down, like, make a visual picture of a goal that you want to do, or the Don't Give Up Daddy picture that I put up. It was specifically meant to me that I would be able to stay home with Gabby and the kids, and this would be my full time. That's what it represented to me emotionally. So what he said is, put that on the fridge, and anytime you think about quitting, he said, imagine this is what you're going to do. The day you feel like quitting or not showing up to your business consistently, because that's the topic, he said, I want you to walk in there with the fridge, grab your 3 daughters, and say, hey, come here, girls, and grab your wife. It'd be like David saying, here, come here, Kristen. Bring his daughters in. He's got them standing around the fridge and just be like, remember this when I told you that I was going to do this? I was going to work from home in 2 years. I was going to, we're going to go on these Disney trips like David went yesterday. He's like, you know what? It's just too hard for me. I don't think I have the courage to keep overcoming the fears that I have and to build this business. Just take it off the fridge and rip it up in front of your kids and say, we're just not going to go for this anymore. Like, I don't think it's important anymore. And he said, imagine that, like, imagine doing that. And he said, because a lot of times we don't think about the consequences of our actions, or when we stop doing something, or when we make a poor choice, of what it means long term. So if you're building this business and you have a strong reason or why, make sure that you think about that long term of what it's like. And that was a big mental visual for me. And I just remembered that as David was speaking. So think about that every time you think about not showing up if you're committed to your business 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, or whatever it is, 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, and you don't feel like doing it, just picture walking your wife and kids in there and tearing it up and saying, it's not worth it. Because like David said, if you start and finish, you're never going to arrive there. So remember that. The next thing that I tell all of my new coaches when I'm doing a video chat with them in the morning, and this is a little bit harsh, and I'm like a people pleaser, so it's hard for me to say, but it's an important thing for me to say. Because I run with, my strategy is to, I teach whoever tells the story the most wins, right? So what I do when I'm starting a new coach and training them is I run a coach sneak peek. I educate people on Beachbody on Demand, challenge groups, compensation plan, goals and dreams. We run this coach sneak peek group, and they bring their friends and family so I can help explain Team Beachbody to them. And what I tell them as we're preparing this group and inviting their friends to this group, I say, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm not a sarcastic person, but I do it kind of sarcastically in a fun, teasing way with them, because I'm on a video chat just like this, and I have them raise their hand, and I say, hey, here's the thing. You guys are making a list of 100 people. You're going to continue to add at least 3 to 5 people to that list every day. What I want you to do is, if you ever quit 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now because it gets too hard or you get too many no's, I want you to send me that entire list with their emails, because they're going to sign up at one point when it's ready for them. It was nothing about you. I tell them that. If you're going to quit, save your list and give it to me, because they're going to sign up when the time is right. And I explain how it took me 8 months to sign up, and it took me 8 months of telling, no, I'm not going to ever join that thing. If anybody could ever convince me to be a Beachbody coach, I would kill it at this business. Like, that was what I used to say before Beachbody. So I say, give me a list. If you're going to quit, give me a list. So it helps them understand the long term of consistency of what it's going to mean. And I share with them specific examples of, one of my top diamonds right now is from she got invited into a group as a discount coach. Her coach quit when it got hard, and I inherited her, and now she's one of my top coaches. So I help them understand that process, that it takes time, it takes consistency, like David said with the example of the store. And that was one of the examples that I was going to give today, but he hit on it perfectly. So I'm not going to hit on that topic. So the one thing I want to teach you guys, a simple concept from personal development. You should have heard this already, but I'm going to make it a little bit more clear to you guys so you can understand. I love the example of pumping the water, like David said. Another example in that book is the flywheel, a big wheel. It's like it's hard to get it turning at the beginning because there's no momentum. But once you push the wheel a few times, you pull it down. It's this huge wheel. And after a while, you get it spinning fast. And then all you got to do is do this. Hit it with one hand, and it keeps spinning, right? In the beginning, though, you're using all your might. And that's how it is. Same thing, I'm going to give you another example. For a plane to take off, it takes a ton of momentum in the beginning to get that jet to take off and to continue climbing the altitude. But once it's up, it doesn't take near the amount of effort and gas and effort to keep that plane flying. But you got to still keep the throttle down on the plane, or the plane's going to crash. And the thing about that is that plane will never come back up again if you let off the throttle on that plane. So think about some of those examples and consistency. But I'm going to talk to you guys about the 10,000 hour rule. I think so many people miss this point. This will be like humbly bragging, but I play the guitar really well. I snowboard really well. I can like backflip and spin 360s and 720s. I can play the guitar, skateboard. I can ollie garbage cans, probably not anymore. I could do all these things, but how can I do that? I mastered those crafts, and I applied the 10,000 hour rule. Heck, I can paint and draw really well. I don't do it anymore, but I got really well at that. And during different episodes of my life, epitaphs of my life, epitaphs is probably not the right word. It's early for me, guys. I would spend hours, and I'm going to talk about the 10,000 hour rule. But when I first learned to play the guitar, I would play every single day. I would come home, shut myself in my room with the music, listening to it on the tape or the 8-track, and I would sit there with my bass guitar, and I would sit in there for 5 hours at a time, day after day after day after day, till I mastered the songs. And that's how I got good at it. When I skated, I would skate my driveway for 4 hours straight, come in for dinner, go straight back out, and I would skate and practice the ollie, practice jump in until I could jump a garbage can. But it took me years and practicing every single day. So the same thing applies to your business. It's called the 10,000 hour rule. To become an expert at anything, it takes 10,000 hours. That could be, if you're a dentist, it's going to take you 10,000 hours to become an expert dentist. If you're like if you're a police officer, it's going to take you 10,000 hours before you know everything. I don't know everything about being a police officer, but before it's developed in your mind, like he talked about at the beginning of this call, where you just show up and you don't think about the things you have to do. Like for me to be a musician, it takes 10,000 hours to become a professional at that. It's going to be the same thing with your business. So I want to break that down for you, because sometimes you think that I'm like, okay, 10,000 hours, I'm going to do this. But what that means, guys, is if you want to be a professional at Team Beachbody, guys, I'm not even a professional at Team Beachbody coaching yet. I may have done the 10,000 hours, but on average it says it takes you 7 years to do that. I'm going to break it down. For 5 years, it's going to take you 2,000, or if you break the 10,000 hours, you're going to do in 5 years, it's going to take you 2,000 hours a year to get that, and it's going to be 5.6 hours a day. So if you want to be a professional at Beachbody coaching in 5 years, guys, not in a year or in 6 months, I'm going to give this a year and see if this works, 2 years, see if this works. It's going to take you 5 years, 5.6 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, if you're like, that's a little bit too much for my schedule right now, I can't do that, then say, I want to be a professional at this in 7 years. That's going to take you 4 hours a day, 7 days a week for 7 years. And I can say I've done that. I did my first year, I did 5 hours a day. So I can, even though I haven't been a coach for 7 years, I can say that I'm a professional, or I've done my 10,000 hours so far. But that's going to be, if you're even like 4 hours a day right now, is still too much for me to do, too taxing. Because I know you could build this business in 3 hours a day. Build a solid business if you're disciplined. But guys, if you have 2.8 hours a day to build this business, it's going to take you 10 years, 7 days a week, 10 years, 2.8 hours a day in order to become a professional at this business. And what I mean by that is anybody can come to this business with hustle, the ability to learn, and you can learn every skill that you guys need, every skill, every attribute, every leadership trait that you guys need to build this business. But you got to understand, it's going to take you 10 years of applying that compound effect, that consistency, 7 days a week, 2.8 hours a day if you want to become the top, the best, and a professional in this business. When you become that, guys, you attract success. The more successful you come, and the more that you apply it and become the values and the skills that you need to become a successful entrepreneur in this business. So with that being said, I went a little bit long, but David, thanks for everybody being on this with us today. 6 o'clock a.m. is super early for me. It literally takes me 2 hours before I ever schedule a phone call, before I ever do a video. I've always done a workout before I do a video, and I did not do this morning. But I did sprint about 1 mile. So, guys, I think that's another point to take in is you've got to put yourself in state to show up for your business when you need to show up for it so that you guys can move forward. So, love you guys. If this helps you in any way, please share it with somebody else. Tag your bros in here. And the last thing I want you guys to remember is it's time for us to man up. And remember that picture you're going to put up on the fridge and just make the decision. I'm never going to walk my kids in there and say, you know what, Daddy's not tough enough to accomplish this and to give you that life that I said I could give you. And we'll see you guys next time.